to just nullify what Fremantle can offer.
Last time they met here, it was a ripper. Round 3, it was a thriller. Fremantle by 7 points. Might be a tight one again tonight. We're underway. Pavlich immediately in the milestone game gets a touch. Steve Johnson left to Favako, tried a slick handball, towed off the deck. Pavlich to half forward. Milburn, who was the hero as the super sub last week, kicking the winning goal to Bartel. And now Corey. Little fumble by Joel Corey out of play.
Cameron Ling looks like he's going to David Mundy at this stage.
Ottens, Sandlands.
Holding Johnson, Steve Johnson.
Steve Johnson's ball.
Steve Johnson, free kick.
And not given directly back either.
Very lucky there. Could have been 50 metres quite easily.
It's never really torn Fremantle apart, Steve Johnson. Kind of his grassy knoll here at Subiaco, and that's rather unfortunate there for Taylor Hunt. Throw through his legs. Mundy tries to go straight through the middle. The Boer back into the team this week. Couldn't do something decisive with the possession, and we'll get a ball up. First game for the year for Matthew de Boer, and a few of the Cats as well, like Cameron Ling, who's back in, and that's Taylor Hunt. And he's normally their go-to man because he's such a great delivery man into the 50. 81% by foot possession retention for Taylor Hunt. Half forward, bouncing ball. Duffield content to see this out of play with Mitch Duncan. We'll get a ball in. Good crowd. First home game of the season for Fremantle.
It's a big night for James Podsiadly, particularly important without Mooney in the forward line, and Hawkins hasn't been in great form, so big responsibility rests on his shoulders, and in most of his best form has been at Skilled Stadium.
Ling towards Chapman, who started a full-forward Grover. Too good for him there to Subin, put him under pressure. Back to Grover, Duffield, Crowley. They should get out of trouble. Hill. And the crowd finds some voice, and then Hill leaves it behind. Gives it up just in time. Little bump on the Broughton kick. Johnson caught high. Definite free. Play on advantage. Crowley. First opportunity coming up here for the Dockers. Johnson, Pavlich, Main can get and go. He's got a handball target over the top. He ignored it. Now forced to give it to Boer. Back to Johnson. Still got a loose man. It's McPhee. Poor kick. Milburn should shut him down. Does.
Yeah, good effort.
Busts it to Bartel. That's terrible. Main. Oh, he took a netball step. Not enough to be called play on.
Main started very well. He was up on centre wing before and has run through the lines quite well. He's got high work rate, and he'd like to bring some of that early on in this game to try and blow up his opponent, a young opponent in Guthrie.
McFarlane.
Move it on, play on.
You heard the umpire called to get going. Doesn't put it up high to Sandlands. Goes to the pocket, strangely enough. Corey toward Johnson, getting back, lending a hand. And the ball out of play. Umpires this evening: Michael Vozzo, Matt Stevic, Jason Armstrong. And they're barking instructions early, the umpires. Crowley tries to break free, dropped it. Main, likewise and likewise. And he got Joel Corey in a headlock. According to the umpire, behind play.
No, there was no tackle.
Huge job for Taylor Hunt. He appears to have the task of looking after Matty Pavlich tonight.
Long kick to the wing.
Holding on, Jimmy Bartel.
So Jimmy Bartel's ball. A few frees being given away by the Dockers, who trying to shut them down early. That's the second poor kick from Jimmy Bartel. And the second turnover. Duffield, Pavlich, bang, gone. Mundy back in. The Duff man gets another possession. Back inboard. Boer. Mundy. Sandlands. Crowley. They need the kick. Inside 50. Kepler Bradley down there. Can't really get a run at it. Josh Hunt just toes it back to Bradley, who didn't get a run at it. Gave it to McPhee. A little untidy at the moment. Main dived on it. And Corey Enright comes up with it. Mackey just hacks it out of the area. Duffield sets, takes the mark. Crowd in full voice at the moment. Subin, short. Crowley plays on from 48. It's a wobbler. Offline.
Fremantle really trying to use the ball by hand at the moment. 21 handballs to 8 early in the game.
Josh Hunt. Straight down the middle. Ottens or Sandlands? Sandlands. Hard to outmark him when he's got front spot. It's hard to outmark him when he's not in front spot either. Johnson, good spoil. Taylor in a spot of bother. He's over it. Now the ball's on him. Umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt.
It's a good opportunity for Michael Johnson there. I thought it was a pretty good pass from Aaron Sandlands. Harry Taylor a metre or two behind. Just got there with a lunging spoil. They look dangerous early, the Dockers.
Sandland tries the big flick. Kelly read it well. Steve Johnson weaves his way through traffic. Podsy Ardley, chance for a first touch for him. Back into the team this week. Didn't play round one. Made it impossible for Duncan and stolen back by Duffield, who's having a field day. Fife thought about bouncing and going for goal. Ballantyne will do if he can peel onto it. He does. He's got it. He's driven into the deck. Was it in the back? No, behind. Crowd wanted it. Nothing doing. Taylor Hunt, the delivery man. Josh Hunt. Spears to the midfield. Too far for Wachinski.
Poor kick.
Broughton. Pavlich.
He had two loose players, Josh Hunt, missed them both.
Kepler-Bradley will have to go here. Milburn, a little tap down. Mackie caught. Ball between his legs. And the umpire calls for a ball up.
Aidan Ballantyne thought he was running with an open goal. Fantastic chase from Corey Enright.
It's a little in the back-ish.
Ish, yes. Not completely. They don't. Happy to see it called play on.
Well, the fans here weren't. Walters, what a day he had last week, or night it was. Especially late in the piece when he was the hero winning the game for Fremantle. Sandlands on hands and knees. Likewise Pavlich, he comes out. Taylor Hunt rolls it. Stokes, Broughton. Broughton got ball and tried to get going, couldn't. McFarlane, brilliant. Van Berlo, Mundy. They started well, the Dockers. Can't translate that into goals, though. Ballantyne, Mackie thumps it away. McPhee breaks the tackle, gives it up. Kepler-Bradley, outside of the foot. There's your first one.
Had to come. There's just been relentless pressure in the first stages of this first quarter. They've been pumping the ball forward 2 or 3 occasions. They've had a loose player in the attacking 50. It was actually Bradley on that occasion. They couldn't find him with the pass, but he stayed involved in the play and ended up getting on the end of it. It's this kick from Monday that just misses the target. Bradley was in a nice little pocket of space, but they couldn't find him. It was the hand pass from McPhee that released him. And little check side. Nice finish.
Let's go, boys. Quick.
2 subs tonight. If he's joined us late, Alan Christensen playing his first AFL game for the Cats. And Reece Palmer, the sub for Fremantle. Johnson starting the middle. Got it up, gave it to Ottens, who was also on his back. Corey to Kelly. Back to Corey. Cats haven't been forward all that often. They might here. Roberton mops up his own mess. Handballs a little wildly. Subin, where Angels fear to tread, does well. Ties it up and now he's gone.
Steve, I know it's the rule, Jace, but he's the only one having a real crack at trying to win that ball then.
Yep. Geelong making a triple change. It's ice hockey-esque, the kind of changes we're getting in the game with interchange now. Only 3 interchanges allowed now under the new system this year. And Geelong making 3 changes at the once. Chapman, in game 200, floats a little on Milburn. Fremantle getting plenty of players back now.
He's with his man.
Cats are just being really patient here. I think they need to. Every Fremantle player is in their defensive half of the ground at the moment, so they just need to keep chipping it around, keep possession of it.
Taylor to Enright, and there's the bomb. Podgiardley's got 3 to beat, including Sandlands, and almost beats them all. Off hands. Broughton didn't want to rush the ball. Oh, it's horrendous. Snap at goal. And it's there from Menzel. Unbelievable. They gave that one away.
They certainly did. Sandland's got in the right spot. Back.
I think that's the reluctance to rush the behind in that situation, Jono.
Yeah, because he should have tapped that back, and he would have got away with it too. Under the rule, it would have been fine. But look, I think Geelong need to be careful because if they bomb it in like that all night, Sandlands, especially when they get slowed up, Sandlands is going to be back there every single time. So unless they get some good front and square crumbs or a little bit of luck, it's going to be tough to score.
Started on the bench, Daniel Menzel. He was one of those 3 changes we were speaking of. Straight on, straight forward, and straight through the middle. Cats on the board. Sandlands, the flick down. Hawkins into the ruck. Wins this one away with Chinsky. Thumps it forward. Podsiadly. And was he manhandled? He was. McFarlane wrapped him up. And Podsiadly, in his first game of the year, a chance to give the Cats the lead. Luke McFarlane. Some accused him of not pulling up as quickly as he should have when he had Jonathan Brown on the ground and ran into Jonathan Brown. James Podsiadly. For goal number 50 for the Cats. 49 last year, and he's on the board this year with his first.
Well, it's amazing that Geelong's in front because Freo's had all the play. They've only had a couple of opportunities going forward, and whether it's by luck or by design, they've finished with 2 goals. This is just a good contest. Really prefer to see those ones just wave play on because they've both got a hold of each other. They're both pushing and shoving. Let whoever's strongest actually win the battle rather than trying to decipher who's doing more holding than the other person.
It's when both players are face on, that's when it's tough. That's when it's really tough to make that call.
So a change. Grover now on Podsiadly as we head downstairs. Glenn Jakovic.
Thanks, Dwayne. Chris Mayne's just come off and he's just yelled out to the physio to come over, and he's just yelled out back. So the physio's just doing some extension work on his lower hip area.
So we'll keep an eye on that. Speaking of lower, that was lower. Couldn't get it out though. Subin wrapped up just in time. Pavlich smothered. Stokes missed it the first time. Gets it here. Kelly caught. Ling. Quick fire handballs to the open spaces. Varco. And he missed Steve Johnson with that handball. Taken out of play.
Crowley's so focused on Steve Johnson that the handball come out his way then. He probably could have turned and taken possession. But, you know, it worked out in his favour in the end. But very, very lucky there.
Not the kind of player you want to let have a couple of possessions to get his confidence up. Good tackle laid on Stokes. Didn't have prior opportunity.
Ball held in, he tried. He made a genuine attempt. Thanks, just didn't have a prior opportunity. Straight back here, guys.
No prior opportunity there. Ballantyne wins the kick anyway. Kicks to half forward. Big pack flies. Kepler Bradley runs head first into James Kelly. And that was a brilliant tackle. Didn't get him high. Still laid the tackle at James Kelly. And so many players do gather the ball now and search for contact with their head. Umpires, though, aware of it. Bartel rolls it wide. Ball clean bowls Hawkins. Broughton brought down. Corey wrapped him up nicely. Off the deck. Corey back again. Hawkins. Just a little bump on Hunt. Sends it inside 50 and cutting it off long. It's a tight, hard, difficult contest to win at the moment.
Oh, there's a shocker.
And the Cats have already got one from Menzel from a turnover. Maybe Menzel can kick 2 from 2.
Steve Johnson's put in a couple of leads.
Yeah, he did.
From 51. Gee, got onto it. And he hits the post.
It's interesting the way they've used Steve Johnson, Jono. You spoke about him in the pre-game. He started on ball. They drew Ryan Crowley as an opponent on ball, but then all of a sudden he's gone deep into the square and they're trying to isolate him, one out.
And Chapman's gone onto the ball, so I think the two are going to work in a bit of tandem throughout the night. I think they'll use forward, midfield and the bench to get enough ground time throughout the evening.
Pavlich too good there. Duffield's kick always meant for him, but he still had to mark it in front of Bartel. Matthew Pavlich, 238th game, equal games record holder now with the Fremantle Dockers to 5. He changed numbers over the summer. Said that 13 was unlucky, so went to number 7. Gave 13 to Tenzai Mzungu, and he's injured his knee and is out for half the season. So it is unlucky with the Dockers, the 13. The 7 not much good either at the moment. He gave that one away. McPhee, back, Pavlich. Thumps it long. Walters back of the pack, hoping it comes to him. Off hands though, Mackie. And the Cats do this so well. Run up from defence. Difficult bounce pass to Stokes, short. Varco. There's a downfield free kick anyway. Mackie runs on. Called to hold. Goes with a longer kick. Hawkins gets there. Makes the contest. McFarlane, just as committed, wins the free. So you thought that was a rather ridiculous accusation to say he could have pulled up last week on Jonathan Brown?
Well, he's running hard to get to the contest, and then all of a sudden people expect him to make his legs disappear. Yep. The things that actually got him there.
I'm with you.
Got the benefit of slow motion, and that probably what makes it look worse than what it is. When it's actually in fast motion, he had absolutely no chance of pulling up.
Mundy.
Ball dropped short in the breeze.
Yeah. Fife. Ballantyne. Oh, too good, Enright. He knew Ballantyne was trying to edge him under the ball.
Gee, they're on here with Bartel.
So Bartel and Menzel or Varco. He can take his pick. He goes Menzel. Varco's still there short if he wants it.
Open forward line if he moves it.
And it's a little too short and low. Hawkins doing okay. Kept the ball alive. Corey with him. Grover. Broughton all there.
Yeah, it's short and low, Dwayne, but it's also to the boundary line, and that's not where you want to be kicking the footy. I mean, it's okay if you hit your forward and he has a set shot and you back him in to kick it from an acute angle, but if you're going to miss the target, at least miss it in the hot spot.
Otten's ripped it out of the air. Menzel again. Already kicked one. Goes central. Stevie Johnson with ease. That's one of the easiest goals he'll ever kick.
Jono, a one-step finish with the left peg around the corner. He could have straightened up, waltzed in and kicked a drop punt on his natural foot, but it was a tremendous square-up from young Daniel Menzel. He didn't blaze away. He didn't waste the opportunity. He sized it up. Now, it mightn't have hit him on the full, but look at the space that Johnson's in. He could have turned around and kicked the drop punt, but he thought, I'm here. I'm at the right angle.
Oh, look, more comfortable for him to do that, Jace. But you're right about Menzel. His last couple of minutes, yeah, he might have missed a couple of targets, but he's been very, very good in his work rate. And if he keeps doing that, then he should end up having a reasonable quarter.
That's good in the middle, guys. Give each other a run. Here we go, boys. Watch your head.
Ottens. Sandlin's there, lower with the clearance. Chips it. De Boer. Sandlin's got hands to it, couldn't mark it. Otten's got back with him. Did well, Ottens. Didn't let Sandlin's drift forward unattended. Ling, wide, Enright. Duncan, little fumble, that's all it takes. Gee, lucky. Got one for two high, Mitch Duncan. And the crowd have just realised it.
Yeah, they're on top now, Geelong. They've turned it around because Freo didn't make the most of their first 10 minutes where they dominated, and they're kicking to an open forward line.
Stokes to Hawkins.
Oh, if he hadn't given the quick hands to Wajinski, he has a shot for goal there.
Stephen Johnson again inside 50, peels onto it, runs around, wants another one. Left foot, it's a wobbler, and it bounces unkindly. Normally kicks those.
It's a terrific mark by Tom Hawkins, a really good mark, and it wasn't a bad pass either to Steve Johnson. But if he had have given the quick hands inside, back into the corridor to David Wajinski, he runs to 40, right in front, and has a shot for goal.
Barely a spare seat in the house right now at Patersons Stadium.
A lot of purple here, Dwayne, a lot of purple.
And what a beautiful look it is. Hawkins, 3 to beat, beats them all.
Well, he is up and about. This is a great sign for Geelong.
Menzel, no, leaves it for the experienced Stevie Johnson, and the umpire was on Stokes. He looked up and for a second wasn't going to pass it.
Sometimes it's amazing, Jono, when you see players that free in the forward 50, you scratch your head and you say, how does it happen?
Oh, it's just the zone set up that time, and Stokes just sitting back, not working up the ground and trying to, and it took Hawkins to take a great grab to create this opportunity to goal.
He's one of the best kicks at goal in the competition. He's 70%, and he's getting closer to about 80 the way he's going. That was never in doubt.
Yeah, it's a fantastic finish, but I guess when you kick it out, you don't expect, let alone Sandlin's to get outmarked, but then the player who outmarks all three, including Pavlich as well, and then allowed to play on quickly and square it up. That's why there were holes in the zone, because no one had time to to get back and pick up the loose players because they're all getting in positions to attack. When you've got possession kicking out, you normally tend to keep hold of possession.
Glenn Jakovich.
Thanks very much, Dwayne. Paul Duffield, who was dominating early, had 5 possessions, 3 rebounds from the back 50, created a lot of ball movement for Fremantle. What Geelong have done, have put Mitch Duncan on him to drag him to the boundary line, and hence Geelong have been able to dominate through the middle of the ground.
And they can smell some blood at the moment, Geelong, to pile a couple more on. Kelly short, Lincoln get and go. 6 different goal, drives it, Menzel, goal square. Can't mark it, Duffield, who Jacko was just telling you about. Good defensive effort there, behind.
Joel Corey started well, 7 possessions. Looks like he's taken that role of Selwood through the middle of the ground. But the last 2 times they've gone forward, they've actually hit their targets in the middle of the ground, something they didn't do early in the quarter.
Duffield, long, Sandlands, reach, and, well, he held it for a long time, but not long enough.
Nearly paid that.
McPhee, Grover, Robertson, just got the kick away. Hill probably won't get there. Just teased him enough to force him to run as hard as possible for it.
Yeah, good defensive pressure from the Cats, though. Robertson just didn't have time to steady and hit the target. Hill was in the clear, but he was at full tilt, Robertson, with the Cat right on his ginger.
So Main's okay, and Reece Palmer looked as if he was warming up, maybe the sub to come on. Varco faked a handball, thumps it. Ballantyne got there, can't half volley it. Clever pick up, Duncan. Threw it out, Broughton. Now needs some poise, Pavlich. Sandlands, not the kind of guy you want to be carrying it through half back. And there's the turnover. Joel Corey could go for goal.
Gee, that's a
Bartel almost. McPhee with him. And that's a win for McPhee.
You probably expect Jimmy Bartel to actually mark that one. The peripheral vision from Joel Corey to see it late, kicked the ball across his body and weighted beautifully. You can just see there, he changes his decision really late. That's perfect weight for Jimmy Bartel. It was the only spot he could kick it to.
Crowley to Hill. Sidesteps a couple. Fife, bumped and bumped hard. Pavlich. The release man is Duffield.
Well, the problem is they keep looking up to him and there's no targets further afield to kick to.
Johnson in a one-on-one with Harry Taylor.
And they're creating turnovers. They're putting the Freo defence under pressure, and this has been an impressive start by Geelong after seemingly being in trouble in the first 10 minutes.
Sends it long. Podsiadly almost had a hand grab. Menzel did have a hand grab. Robertson grabs and then was grabbed. Pavlich driven down, didn't have it.
So you reckon that's unlucky too.
Slung down, didn't have the footy.
But they are under the pump, the Dockers now.
They're under the pump, Judge, because every time they look up, especially when they're trying to handball it through, and they're probably overusing the handball a little bit, they've got a Geelong player straight in their vision.
I got some worse news for you. Sandlands looks a little proppy at the moment.
He does.
He might be coming off. Lower toward Main. Bumped in the attempt to mark. Walters, play on advantage. Drives it long. Bradley. That was better. But Sandlands will go down to Jacko shortly, coming off.
May have been in that tackle towards, may have been in that tackle towards the middle of the ground when he was trying to run out of defence before.
Good quick movement of the footy though for Freo has finally created a good opportunity. Kepler Bradley ducked back into the pocket, and it was a good long kick that found him with a regulation uncontested mark. He needs a finish now. They need to take a bit of pressure off themselves, the Dockers.
It comes a huge kick. So bittersweet. Sandlands off, but the goal there.
Well, he's keeping him in it. Kepler Bradley, he's kicked a couple of goals. You know, he's an awkward-looking kick, but he's made himself become an effective kick. He's worked out how to get the best results out of his kicking action, and this was the mistake. Geelong had 2 players. They let the ball get over the back, and then it was the quick kick from Walters, I think it was, that found Kepler Bradley. And a terrific finish from a pretty tough angle.
Coming back here, guys. Coming back this way.
Sandlands on the bench. Jacko.
Yeah, he's come off. He's taken his right boot off, and they're just re-strapping his ankle from the outside. So they've left their sock on. So maybe just a quick measure to get him back out there.
Yeah, they'll redo that, you would think, at quarter time or at half time. Mundy strips Corey of it. Coming off a great season last year as well. David Mundy, now one of the prime players in the competition. Fife. Hill. Slips away from Wachinski, who hunts him down. floats. Subin. Some confidence back now, the Dockers. Robertson. Chased down by Kelly. Needs it to sit. Does sit. Duffield. He's got McFarlane. Needs to give it to him. He doesn't. He gives it back to Robertson. And now McFarlane's still free. Short main.
Well, they worked it well. They didn't panic. They had the numbers. They took their time. And now Main will have a shot. He's one thing I did notice about Chris Main being down on the ground, Dwayne, he's bigger than he looks out on the ground. He's a decent sized player. He's 6'2", 6'3",
yep.
and solid.
Fourth season on the list this year for Chris Main, so time for him to grow as a player. If he can be injury free, gee, that's a gem. That is brilliant. Right when they needed it.
Just a great goal, as you said earlier in the lead up to that. They worked it quite well. They didn't panic with the ball. They were able to get some good overlap run. They could have gone to McFarlane a little bit earlier than what they did in the end. But look, it was just a great build-up and a great finish here by McFarlane to hit up Main with a good lead.
It was Michael Johnson that'll do the ruck work for Freo with Aaron Sandlands off the ground. You can see him getting ready to come back on. He just landed a little bit properly after contesting the ruck.
Oh, yeah.
You just see it there. He might have actually landed on the foot of the Geelong player, and that's what gave him a little tweak.
Yeah, you could see the ankle roll out just before he was obscured there.
But he is waiting to come back on, and that's a great sign for the Doggers.
Inside 3 minutes to quarter time. You can hear the umpires.
I hate hearing that.
Warning players not to hold.
Either pay the free kick or don't worry about it.
Wachinski rolls in, rolls on it.
And gone.
Well, the crowd are roaring for it. Umpire Jason Armstrong says no.
I'll tell you where they've been good, the umpires. You hear big roars. Sometimes you can give the easy decision because, you know, everyone's going to agree with it. Everyone's going to cheer when you give the decision. But they're judging each decision on its merits, and they're not being swayed by the parochial crowd.
Ottens takes it out of the air, stolen by Ballantyne, so he kicks it straight up in the air. Play on. Hill swoops. Shorts it. Bradley can't take this one. He's already kicked two.
For a left footer, I like his right foot. Stephen Hill. You don't see many. Yeah, very few left footers actually use it. He squared one up beautifully before, and that wasn't far off the mark either.
Expected to push for an All-Australian jumper this year. Hill. Ballantyne might likewise. Just hits the post. Yeah, Stephen Hill, he was a pick 3, and under the, well, if you like, the David King rule, if you're a top 10 draft pick, you're expected to at some stage in your career be All-Australian. Otherwise, you haven't got the best out of yourself, or the recruiter got it wrong, or both. Milburn, short. Bartel, who was an early pick in the Super Draft, pick 8, and he has been All-Australian and a Brownlow medalist. They got that pick right to the Cats. Hawkins couldn't take control of that. Inside 2 minutes to quarter time. Tied up. Hawkins gets it out. Ling, first game back. Floats it towards goal. And gets it there. Welcome back, the Mayor.
Well, there you go. A bit of inspiration from the skipper on the right foot from 50. So fantastic bit of play by Hawkins again. His handball out of the pack was very good. Made the contest here. Was able to get a good handball over when play unfolds. And it ends up in Ling, who's worked hard out of the middle to create a goal.
Good hand pass. Hawkins releasing Ling. I reckon the breeze must be favouring Geelong's end.
Okay, coming back here, guys.
Might be his last year as captain, Cameron Ling, with Joel Selwood, the anointed one.
Keen to talk to Glenn Jakovich. Jacko, you know the breeze well here, but we saw a Docker kick early, dropped short, and then we saw that one from Ling really carry.
Both right-hand forward pockets will have the breeze behind you. Because of the stadium, it just whirls around in a circle here at Patersons Stadium.
Pavlich to Mundy, good movement, short, ricochet, Walters loves a goal, that won't be one.
They look like they've unearthed another one, though.
Yeah.
He looks exciting, young Michael Walters.
And let's hope he continues with the celebrations after goals. And let's hope club directors don't get to him like they got to Mark Williams at Hawthorn.
Oh, stop, you're right.
Had that fantastic celebration and told not to do it. Sandlands takes the mark. Broughton sits it up. Main from 4 deep, spoiled his own man in the end. Gathers the crumb. De Boer thought about having a crack at it. McPhee tucked in, pocket. Central kick, not a bad centering kick at that. Fife went up, couldn't take the mark. Oh, Stokes almost turned it over. Enright, dying seconds, inside a minute, stolen back. Mundy kicks the goal. Awesome. The Dockers are back on.
Well, they're the goals that hurt in the dying seconds of a quarter. The ones that probably get under the skin of coaches the most is you've done most of the work for the quarter. You've built yourself up a nice little lead. You want to consolidate, and you just concede with a little bit of sloppy defending. They had a chance to clear it once or twice, and they just missed the mark. And this is just an indiscriminate hand pass that misses the target. A good finish from Mundy, though. He started well.
Have to be pretty good to win a best and fairest here ahead of Aaron Sandlands and Matthew Pavlich. That's what David Mundy did last year. And there's Chris Scott, former assistant coach here with Fremantle, knows these Fremantle boys well. No emotion in the box yet from Chris Scott. Crowley dragged down.
Oh, he dragged that in. He's in real trouble. Very lucky to get away with that because the ball spilled out. He grabbed it with one arm and pulled it back in, Ryan Crowley.
Time enough for a clearance here for either side and a score. Sandlands flicked down. Pavlich almost threw that away. Crowley caught high. OK, they need to get it forward quickly.
Yeah, it was OK right then, but it was slipped.
They take the lead. The first change, he heads wide. Grover. Mundy.
In a good battle, Mundy and Ling. They both got a goal to their name. Mundy coming up for possession number 8. Ling's had 6.
And that should do it. McFarlane, he'll go to Robertson. And the dying seconds of this opening term eaten up. Quarter time at Patersons Stadium. Round 2 contest between 2 undefeated teams. And it's tight, as you'd expect. Geelong by 5 points. 5-3-33 to 4-4-28.